Well, it's time now for a look at all this Friday's international newspapers with our press reviewer, Florence Filomeno, who joins me now in the studio. Hello, Florence.
Hey, Lorna, how you doing?
So, a lot of papers talking about that alleged Iranian-backed plot, somewhat bizarre plot, this, to murder the Saudi ambassador to the US, and the International Herald Tribune is taking a closer look at the suspect that was arrested.
Absolutely. His name is Mansour Arbab-Siar. His nickname is Scarface, actually, but according to the International Herald Tribune, he seemed like an unlikely suspect. The 56-year-old American-Iranian car salesman seems to be more of a stumbling opportunist than a calculating killer. Now, the International Herald Tribune goes to his hometown in Texas and interviews his friends and neighbors, and they're all shocked. They say that he wasn't that much of a zealot. In fact, he habitually smoked marijuana, and he seemed too incompetent to pull this off. In fact, the article paints the picture of somewhat of a likable loser, in a way, who had a string of unsuccessful relationships with women and unsuccessful businesses. He really doesn't seem to fit the profile of someone who would run a global terror plot, according to the International Herald Tribune.
Indeed not. And there are suspicions that actually it's Iran's Quds force who's behind this plot. Perhaps he's just a fall guy. And there have been sort of different reactions in the press as to how the US should respond to all this.
That's right. We're going to take two opposing opinions about exactly what the U.S. should do in this situation. Now, we're going to start with the International Herald Tribune taking a look at their editorial, which says that if this is the hand of Tehran behind there, it's a reminder of why the U.S. and its allies should use sanctions against Iran. It says the article says that there's still a lot of questions in the air, exactly who in Iran is behind the plot, just how high up it goes, the responsibility goes, and why they would organize such a plot. Now, according to the editorial, they say it's a relief that it's Obama who's making decisions and not his predecessor, so Bush, so that to avoid a shoot first, ask questions later kind of war. There's a completely different opinion, however, in the Wall Street Journal. There's an article by a former CIA officer who says that this plot is clearly an act of war on behalf of Iran. He says that he says that it's probable that that leaders very high up were behind the plot, and he says that those sanctions aren't a bad idea. That it's not enough to scare Iran, and what's really necessary, what the White House needs to do, is to respond militarily to this outrage because, quote, if it doesn't, America is asking for it.
Okay, so perhaps a more Bush-style response there from him. Now, let's move on to The Guardian, the British newspaper, because they're tying this plot to the broader Arab Spring movement.
That's right. There's an interesting article by David Hurst who says that basically this Iran terror drama involves four players who have much to lose in the Arab Spring. So the four players are Saudi Arabia, the U.S., Iran, and Israel. And according to this article, he says that they're engaged in a series of proxy battles to kind of reaffirm their influence in the aftermath of the Arab Spring, where everything has changed. And he says that though these countries mouth support for the Arab Spring, they're actually really scared of Arab self-determination. And between them, they could kill the Arab Spring, and he hopes that they fail.
Okay, well, speaking about the Arab Spring, fighting still going on in Syria, it's Colonel Gaddafi's hometown in Libya, and it does seem that the NTC fighters are really struggling to get a hold of that town.
That's right. We're going to start by looking at an impressive photo in The Independent, which shows fighting in Sirte through hell and high water, final push into the Battle of Sirte. Now, there was a water mains burst, transforming the streets into canals, and we're going to also look at another take on the conflict there with a cartoon, which says, meet the new boss. So you see three Gaddafi lookalikes torturing a prisoner. Come on, tell us what that brutal, abusive, torturing bastard Gaddafi is. And actually, they're NTC authorities. So according to The Independent, I guess there's not that much difference between the former leader and his replacement.
Okay, quite a cynical view there. And finally, actress Hilary Swank. She's apologising after wishing a warlord happy birthday. That's also in The Independent.
That's right. Now, Hilary Swank says she regrets attending a party that was held in honor of Chechnya's leader, Ramzan Kadyrov, last week. Now, she gave an impassioned speech about her experience in Chechnya. We're going to take a listen to what she had to say.
I got the opportunity to take a tour of the city today, and I'm always taken by the passion to make peace and to make something beautiful, and I could feel the spirit of the people. Everyone felt so happy. It was nice to be around.
Now, somewhat unsurprisingly, she came under fire from human rights groups for attending the party and giving that speech. Now, she said she's sorry, but it's not clear whether she'll part with the fee that she earned for attending the party. Now, she's cringing, but she wasn't the only one attending that party. There was also the singer Seal and the actor Jean-Claude Van Damme, who went so far as to say, "I love you, Mr. Kadyrov." So we still need to hear what he has to say about that.
Perhaps a few red faces all around there. Thank you very much indeed, Florence Villeminot, for that look at some of the international press this Friday.